Alright, let's see what I've got next on my agenda. Smash Brothers video. I haven't covered that one in a while. In fact, I used to focus on that game in particular. With the Garbage Machinima series that is no longer public, I figured it was time to get back to my channel's roots. Sure, the variety with my new videos has been nice, and at the end of the day, people seem to enjoy that stuff. Yeah, at least the Minecraft hardcore stuff. I honestly don't know whether to take this as a good thing or a bad thing. Regardless of that, I am a Smasher at heart, and I am a part of its community in my own weird way. However, there's something a fair amount of people still don't seem to understand when it comes to Smash, and that's what a main actually is and how exactly they work. What I aim to cover here is what a main actually is, what kind of setups there are for mains, and how I selected my main. I should state that while this will mostly focus on Smash 4, this can also apply to Melee as well as other games, so keep that in mind. With that out of the way, let's begin. So what is a main? First off, no, you don't have 5 mains. That's not how this works. A main is your best character, so saying you have more than one is a rather bold claim. You're not Azin, and you're not Isaiah. Therefore, you won't be able to just pick random and just do well, especially in a game like Smash 4 with 55 different characters. And the Miis. The more time you split between multiple characters, the more you spread your abilities thin. It means you're splitting your time and effort for each character evenly. So if you claim you main 5 characters, that means you are putting 20% of your time and effort into each of them. An abstract example of this is from a different game entirely, World of Warcraft. The more characters you want to keep up to speed, the more work you have to put into them, which can really end up becoming more of a nuisance than anything, as you won't reach any sort of top-end content. What with all the abilities you have to memorize, different roles you have to fulfill, weekly stuff to get done, stats to boost, reputation to grind, and so much more. Whereas if you have a main, it'll easily be a smoother ride, as you'll be able to get shit done much quicker, as you'll have a focal point to prioritize. After that, it's up to you. If you have any other characters you want to work on, go ahead. Want to level a new character in general, go ahead. As long as it doesn't interfere with the work that you put into your main. Reeling it back to Smash though, I personally believe that you can only really have 2 mains. To give more of an idea, I believe there are 3 different categories for Smashers and their mains. This is the most common setup, as it gives you a single character to focus on, with some backup characters for your main's bad matchups. You could have one secondary to a few different secondaries. Either way, you're going to put more time into your main than your other characters. Secondaries, it's in the name! I've put my trust in you! I'm so sorry, that joke was so bad. A majority of top players use this system, so it's generally commonplace. Whether that's a bane or boon, I'll let you decide. There are many examples of top players who use this setup, like Zero, who may have retired from Smash 4, but mained Diddy Kong and had some secondaries like his Captain Falcon and his Lucina. For Melee, there's Westballs, who mains Falco, with Captain Falcon and Fox as secondaries. This is a more difficult system to manage. The reason is, you play only one character. Every character has a bad matchup. Except Bayonetta and Cloud! This means that you not only have to master the character, but figure out your own bad matchups and be able to overcome them with that character, and no one else. This can be a problem though. For example, say you main Lucario and are facing a Fox player that's just as skilled at the game as you are. That means as soon as the match starts, you'll already be at a disadvantage. However, this can also benefit you, as you've only really played that one character, so practically all your time spent is on that character. Some notable examples of solo mains would be Tsu for his Lucario in Smash 4, and Hungrybox for his Jigglypuff in Melee. This last setup is just as difficult, if not more so, as you have to split your time between 2 characters and keep them both around the same level. As I said earlier, that's a 50% split between 2 characters. This could be in your favor against someone at your skill level. As an example, you play against someone at your level with one of your co-mains, and they drop to their secondary. Your other co-main will have a slight advantage, as you'll likely have put more time into that character than they did their secondary. This is a double-edged sword though, as neither of your mains would have as much time as their single main. This is mostly hypothetical, but generally, your co-mains will not be at the same level as someone's main, but they'll be better than their secondaries. Notable examples of co-mains are Tweak for his Bayonetta and Cloud in Smash 4, and Mango for his Falco and Fox in Melee. Now while I've seen all three of these in use before, it's almost always the main-secondary system that is suggested. The other two can be rather risky, because you're either putting 100% loyalty in one character for everything, or you're splitting everything 50-50 in the hopes that you'll cover more options reliably. I imagine though that some of you are here as you're trying to find your own main. This is a process that can take a while, but as long as you put the time and dedication in, you'll figure it out. To help you all out, here's how I picked my main. To give some background, I had several mains at the start of Smash 4, and once I realized that wouldn't work, I had to figure out who I wanted to main. It took me a long time, but I got through my indecisiveness and picked my main. First tip, be patient. As I said, it took me a while personally, but don't be discouraged if it takes you a while to decide. Another tip, figure out who you like. As an example, I found mine by asking myself 3 questions. Do I like the character and the game they come from? Do I enjoy their playstyle and does it fit my own? Do I do well with this character? After putting a little time into all the characters that fit one of these categories, I started to narrow it down to the ones that fit all 3. That left me with my top 5. I then decided on a system to axe a character each week.
Here we go!
So by the end of the month, there would only be 1 left. So if you follow this system and a character doesn't fit all 3 categories, well, maybe that character isn't for you. My final tip. This is kind of obvious, as many have stated this before me, but don't focus on picking a top-tier character or picking a character based off of other people's perceptions. Just pick a character you'll have fun with. Sure, if you're inspired to pick up a character that you enjoy from watching someone else, that's fine. But just don't base your choice entirely off of other people. Here's a personal example. Lucina was one of the original characters I considered maining when I was debating on who to play, and people always told me, just swap over to Marth because he's better. However, I was adamant with my choice, and she ended up becoming my main for a long time. Of course, now I focus on Mewtwo, with Lucina being a sort of co-main or secondary.
Shit!
So, TLDR for my tips, have patience. Find a character that you enjoy and can do well with. And don't base your decisions solely off other people's perceptions, as bias can be involved. With all that out of the way, here's a bit of a disclaimer. I know I'm not a major Smash player or anything of the sort. That kinda happens when your closest local is hours away. However, I do follow the competitive scene and I am friends with some competitive players. I just hope that this helped clear up what mains are and helped people out who may still be pondering who to play. If you did enjoy this video and want to see more like this, the best way for me to know to make more is by liking the vid and subscribing. You can also follow me on Twitter, as I do stuff over there and tend to give a heads up as to when things are going to be done over here. That's it from me though, so until next time, Goldenbrawler out.